two movies. One, I don't know whether you know Dr. Dadasaheb Phalke, who is the
Okay.
father of
Yes,
Indian
yes.
cinema, right? And this movie based on him, named Harish Chandrachi Factory. So I'm a Marathi, so my pronunciation will be definitely Harish Chandrachi Factory. That
Okay.
movie offers an inspiring look into Dadasaheb Phalke's perseverance and innovation while making India's first film. And he had a lot of problems, right, while making this. So although the story is not that the daughter gets a first prize or anything, it's not like that. But at least she gets him onto that stage. He makes her sing there. So that's something which are the leadership qualities I can see. Other two movies, apart from Marathi, I think they influenced my life is Hollywood movies. One is
Okay.
Pursuit of Happiness. I think you might know
Oh,
that. Will Smith
yes,
movie.
sir.
That's my
Yes,
one
sir.
of the best and favorite movie.
Yes, sir.
The Garner, his name, right? I mean, the character he played, Will Smith.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes,
Amazing
sir.
movie. Amazing
Yeah.
movie.
Postmarked England.
Yours truly, S. Ramanujan.
You know what the Chinese say, Cookie? Beware what you wish for.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of the CC podcast. In this podcast, we connect with industry leaders and find out connections between the professional world and the world of cinema. I'm your host Dipankar. Okay, so before we go ahead, right? So how many of you? I'm of course you would know about patents and all the stuff, but how many of you would know about the patents, acts, and rules which are there? There's this particular, I would say, a thing or a gift which you have, which we take for kind of granted. Seat belts. Do you know who invented it first? Well, it was invented by Volvo, right? So the quite essential seat belts which are there in almost every car, in all the cars, in the world, was actually invented by Volvo. Volvo, if they wanted to actually go on monetization, they could have done it, but they actually kept it free for everyone. So for them, it was more to do with the humankind than in terms of profitability. So in today's podcast, we have a very special person, right, who has spent a lot of his work in patents only, right. He's an extensive experience on patent acts and rules, and he has worked with the likes of GE, Shell, Kraton, right. We are pleased to have today Dr. Jitendra Kadam to our podcast. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, with your introduction, I'm now scared. You'll not start asking me patent laws. Section one, two, three, four, all that. But that's fine, I think. Yeah, and I think you have depicted, or I will say, represented my introduction very well. I think you're right. I'm into patents for almost now 15 plus years. Before that, okay, of course, the basic or base, I would say, was more or less, the research. I'm a pure chemist. I still call myself chemist, or I would say R&D scientist, I would say. But of course, professional journey, as I told you, into industry was more to patents. So yeah, of course, it's like a mix of both. But then, yeah, I'm known for patents as patent specialist now. Thank you so
Oh,
much for inviting me to this podcast, and I'll see, how I can answer your question.
sure, sir. We are honored to have you over here in our podcast.
Yeah,
So from chemistry to leadership, a story which is very worth telling, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what we saw was that your career spans research, industry leadership, academia in general, right? So how has your scientific background kind of shaped your approach to problem solving and decision making?
Yeah, well, that's a very interesting question. So, see, my scientific background has profoundly shaped my professional approach, I would say. And scientific training teaches one to observe keenly, ask the right questions, hypothesize logically, and validate findings through experiments. So, we do a lot of experiments, right? I mean, that is how it works. You start from A plus B goes to C, right? So, those kind of experimentation I'm talking about. And this methodical or systematical thinking has been crucial throughout my transition from researcher to an industry leader. So as I said, I started as a independent. I mean, as I said, as a master intern in one of the National Chemical Laboratory Lab in Pune. So as a researcher, and then it just grew into an industry leader. For instance, while working on polymer innovation at Kraton, Kraton is my current company. I'm not directly involved into experiment or lab work, but we are monitoring, like whatever comes as an innovation, we always look, right? So it's not that. So we have to validate, right? We have to validate all the points. So when I'm saying, for instance, while working on polymer innovation at Kraton or GE Plastic in the past, we had to solve complex formulation challenges, right? So applying scientific methodologies from control experiments to root cause analysis allowed me to guide team efficiently. So it's not always the team guiding teams, but working with our colleagues also, and of course the people. We have a lot of interns also, the team players. As being a senior person or as a leader, we have a project leader or a team leader. So we always try to guide them through this approach.
Oh,
So this is how I can if you ask me, so this is how my scientific background has shaped into a professional person. Yeah.
wow, that was quite an extensive journey and a like really exciting journey
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, yeah,
So, sir, we'll move to the next question which you have right now, right? So, it's
yeah,
mostly to do with the science of storytelling in cinema, right?
yeah,
Chemistry and storytelling might little bit seem worlds apart, but both require passion or precision. I would say not passion. Sorry, my bad.
yeah,
Precision,
yeah, yeah.
creativity, and experimentation in general. So, have you come across any film in general that portrays kind of scientific thought or research in a way that is very authentic or seems very authentic to you or felt very authentic?
Yeah, I was actually, revisiting this question again and again and trying to find some movies which we can relate to
Okay.
science. But then I can think of two movies. One, I don't know whether Dr. Dadasaheb Phalke, who is the
Okay.
father of
Yes.
Indian
Yes.
cinema, right? And this movie based on him named Harish Chandrachi Factory. So I'm a Marathi, so my pronunciation will be definitely Harish Chandrachi Factory. That
Okay.
movie offers an inspiring look into Dadasaheb Phalke's perseverance and innovation while making India's first film. And he had a lot of problems, right, while making this. So he did a lot of experimentation. So his fearless experimentation, despite limited resources. And that time it was started in way back, right? I think it was a 40s, 50s, right? I mean, he started
Mhm.
cinema. So I think he had a lot of limited resources also, and funding and all those things. That can be that can be, I can say, parallel to spirit of innovation in science, where people who wanted to really start something as a startup, right, or anything, or even for that case, if I take my example, when I started to do something in the lab, right, we just get a paper and we say, okay, fine, you want to make this particular molecule, application is, for example, mine was mostly into electronics applications, so making some polymers into light emitting diodes, or for even nowadays you get those OLED TVs. So we used to make some fine molecules, organic molecules. So it all starts with that, right? So, okay, well, there I will not talk about funding and other things, but it starts with that innovation, how you start all those things, right? So that I can correlate with Dadasaheb Phalke's that movie. Another movie I can remember of, I don't know whether you heard of a movie. Name is Kulkarni, the person. He acted in a movie called Natran.
Okay.
So there, his passion for art, right? I mean, he's a poor farmer in a village, right? And he wants to showcase his talent as an actor and as a singer into because that movie comes from the old Marathi background, where the stage shows used to they call tamasha, right? I mean, the ladies, they dance and then all that. So this guy wants to really become some singer in there, but then his journey starts with a lot of turbulence. He had a lot of problems. Yeah, I mean, finally he succeeds, but there are. I mean, his journey is not really smooth, I would say. The movie showcases the personal sacrifices and societal resistance he faces. Right? I mean, what happens to him? So maybe if you watch that movie, you will more correlate to that. But I have seen that movie, and then the struggle he goes through, that can be similar or draws parallel lines with the people doing research. Not only I'm talking about academic research, but the people Jugadu research or somebody, right? Who
Okay.
has a passion. So I think these two movies are quite I think, draws a parallel lines to the researchers and innovation.
Okay, so moving on to our next question, which you have, sir, which is basically the Marathi cinema in general and the real world impact which it had, right? So, as you have already discussed, right, and also what I've seen is that Marathi films often tackle social and ethical issues, and they have a very unique storytelling approach, right? So,
Yeah.
are there any movies in your view, right, which is like effectively have addressed challenges in science, research, and technological advancements? So something which I could hear about and speak about with my friends with. They spoke about Koth, and I think there was one movie called Sthal Puran, right? Which
Yeah, but Puran, yeah, I could see. I mean, I've not seen it completely entirely, but that movie actually, yeah, it's. I heard of that, but then that I don't know, man. I couldn't. I was not able to correlate. But then again, I'm sorry, I couldn't correlate any Marathi movie for that. But then I liked the movie Journey of Srinivasa Ramanujan, right, the
Mhm,
mathematician.
mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I can talk about that movie. And I know that, but Stal Puran, yeah, I know that. I was looking at that movie, and then I couldn't understand entire things.
Okay,
Sorry. But
okay.
like this movie, the movie, The Man Who Knew Infinity,
Uh-huh.
masterfully captures emotional and intellectual journey. Right, this movie basically captures his Srinivas Ramanuja's story. It shows not only his mathematical brilliance but also the human aspects of his struggles. Right, I mean how he
Mhm.
interacts, how cultural isolation, health issues, and the constant need for validation, right? Because he want to validate, and I mean, I mean, of course, he's an Indian, and then there's always superiority or dominance of Europeans, or although those things are true. So this basically portrayal of his collaboration with Hardy, who offers a realistic glimpses into academic mentorship and scientific validation. So I think this is something which I can correlate with science and innovation, where mentorship, scientific validation is very important, right? And mentorship, especially if I talk about, I think that is very important. That's what we also do whenever we start in our industry. Also, whenever and some new person joins us, kind of professional. So he is mentored, and he is assigned one mentor for first 6 months. So that is how, just to shape him and get him into the mold of that particular industry. So I think this movie is very important and very nicely portrayed about mentorship and his struggles and so on. Yeah. So I can think of that, but Marathi movie as such, I don't remember. Sorry for that. Yeah.
No worries, no worries, sir. Moving to our next question, which you have, sir. So it's more to do with leadership lessons, which is coming from Marathi or global cinema in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of movies in general, they portray leadership or ethics or decision making in compelling ways, right? So
Yeah.
any Marathi movie or any other international movies that that you believe that has offered valuable lessons for leaders in general or professionals.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about a movie called, I will not say the leadership lessons. I think De Dhaka. There is a movie,
Okay.
but let's say there's a movie which is kind of a story of a village guy, and in a bigger stage. So that movie portrays this person's journey, and as this guy is an automobile engineer, and he used to, I mean, of course, with his, again, he's a farmer, but equally he has a garage, and then he tries to get some automotive part, which reduces, or efficiency is something which is very important. Although those that kind of research he does, but at the same time he also wants to fulfill his daughter's uh, dream of getting into that singing competition. So this entire movie shows his leadership skill, getting connecting with, networking with people, because there's an issue with traveling, even with because of financial condition of family, right? They are not able to travel, right? So how he arranges, right, through his skills. Financial aspect is very important, right, for any research. So I think that movie also shows how he arranges, how he organizes, how he networks with other people. For example, in this case, he shows a auto, but then finally comes to, I mean, he realizes that the auto he got is a stolen vehicle. Police cab, I mean, police vehicle follows them. Then how he tries to negotiate with them or convince them about his daughter's dream, and he takes her to the competition and finally succeeds. So although the story is not that the daughter gets a first prize or anything, it's not like that. But at least she gets him onto that stage. He makes her sing there, so that's something which are the leadership qualities I can see. Not
Okay.
fully like the one which you see in the industry, but definitely, I mean, or at his level, he tries to do that, and yeah, definitely, I mean, it's something which I can really see that as a leadership lessons.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it, sir. Yeah, that's nice.
mm,
So we just have last two questions remaining with us. So it's moving to our fifth question, which is there.
yeah,
So it's all about balancing innovation, ethics,
yeah,
and technology in movies, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
we
yeah,
can say that you are someone who is very deeply involved in research in industry in general, right? So what do you
yeah.
think about how cinema, especially Marathi movies, right? They
Uh,
portray a balance between technological prowess or ethical concerns which are there.
yes, see, I think Marathi cinema is more grounded, I will say, because
Okay.
it incorporates these things. One film I can think of, but that's again Court, which is a cop. I mean, I will not say it's a dub movie, but actors are Marathi actors, all Marathi
Mm-hmm.
actors. So that movie emphasizes how systems can misuse information, right? I mean, so whatever information. So I mean, of course, that we have seen in most of the movies, right? Even the reports, your health reports or blood reports, whatever they manipulate, right, to get properly. So I think this movie also shows misuse of information. Again, a relevant concern in fields of AI, big data, right? Where algorithm biases can impact justice and fairness, right? I mean, nowadays you know that, right? AI is very
Yes.
much into that, and it can be manipulated. I think, yeah, but as such, the court is the only movie I can see where data is manipulated and I mean unethically. So if you talk about that, I think that is one movie I can think of. Other than that, I think yeah, I mean there's another movie, science fiction. Uh, I think Gataka. I think that
Okay. Okay.
ethical dilemmas of genetic engineering
Mm-hmm. Okay.
reflecting real, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
genetic. I think you know that reflecting real world concerns in biotechnology today. So how it can be misused, even for the case you can take example of COVID. I think
Yes, sir.
it is
Yes,
a
sir.
big example. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean that's these are two movies I can think of, like Marathi movies as such, not made on these lines, but I think the one quote which is very much into that.
Okay. Got it, sir. We have come to almost the end of the podcast. This is the last question
Yeah,
which you have for you,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, want to know about the personal favorites which you have and like a cinematic relationship, reflection on life in general, right? So let's say
Mhm.
if you had to pick just one Marathi movie, that perfectly represents, your philosophy in life or work, what would that be?
Actually, there's a movie called not yeah, but it's a movie called Elizabeth Ekadashi.
Okay.
I
Uh-huh.
don't know whether you heard of it, but that
Uh,
Elizabeth Ekadashi is a movie about a child. But there are a couple of
okay.
two movies I would say. There's one movie called Killa,
Okay.
where yeah, Killa is a story about a boy who is just
Okay.
moving from a city to village due to some family problems and part of it. But the movie I want to tell you is about this Elizabeth Ekadashi. Elizabeth is name of
Okay.
this small kid around 11, 12 years old. bicycle. He names that bicycle as Elizabeth.
Okay,
The
okay,
boy's name is Nanish, right,
okay,
for
okay,
example.
okay.
And the story is set into a village in Maharashtra. See, the family faces financial problems, right? And then no father, mother, she works somewhere. And so the financial problem, it's a very small amount, like 1,000 rupees or
Mhm,
1,200 rupees, right? So for this, mother sells his managed the actor his bicycle, right, to someone to just pay off the debt, right? And then this boy just gets into some innovative idea, jugadu things, to try to get money to recover his cycle. So yeah, I will not directly tell you that I can just make my entire life parallel to that. But then this is a good inspiration for everybody, and yeah, I can draw some parallels there. But this is how this guy tries to sell a lot of things, gets into problem also, right? To recover money, right? To try to sell some what do you call the sticks, the agarbattis, right? We call,
mhm.
and then flowers, then yeah, a lot of things, bangles and all. So, but with his sister, his sister is very small. I mean, she's just like maybe 7 years old. This guy is 11 years old, and then they try to make money. So, and
Okay,
yeah, his entire thing they showed, and finally they could recover some money and then get back their Elizabeth home.
okay,
So I think so. This is a good story and shows a struggle. But I mean, it's not I can't tell you in like few lines that how it happens. But really needs a
okay,
time to go through that and understand the journey.
okay. Great. I think I should definitely watch that movie. I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
already noted
I
it
hope.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the one story which you mentioned was the Elizabeth Ekadashi. That's right, right now. And I
yeah,
think the
yeah.
other one which you mentioned was Kila.
Killa is another, yeah, because this kid, the small kid, his father dies, and then mother also, okay, she just gets a transfer from a big city, Pune,
Mhm,
to
mhm.
a small village, and then
Okay,
this boy is into a different environment totally. Right? He gets into a
okay,
different environment, totally different friends, and he tries to, try to cope up with his all his whatever the problems he faces. So I think these two movies are good, and I think both the movies they won national award, national
oh,
film award. Yeah, yeah, the Killa, both the kids, and even for the other movie,
okay,
Ekadashi. I think. I mean, they're fun watching, fun also, and you get some messages after that.
okay. Got it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think other two movies, apart from Marathi, I think they influenced my life is Hollywood movies. One is
Okay.
Pursuit of Happiness. I think you might know
Oh,
that Will Smith
yes,
movie.
sir.
That's my
Yes,
one of
yes,
the best and favorite movie.
yes, sir.
I mean, the Gardner, his name, right? I mean, the character he played, Will Smith.
Yes, 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 yes,
Amazing
sir.
movie. Amazing
Yeah.
movie. And I always watch that movie. 7 Pounds is another movie from him. Apart from this movie, there's another movie from Cuba Junior, Men of Honor. It's about the diver. So he's a black African guy, right?
Okay.
And then he gets into SEAL, American. So he
Mm-hmm.
gets into that, and he faces a lot of discrimination, right? I mean, that's a
Okay.
racist. So and then his mentor, initially he's not his own man. I mean, he's an instructor, right? How he faces
Mm-hmm.
problem with other people,
Mm-hmm.
how he comes out from there. He comes out, but then again he gets into a big accident. I mean, again on the
Mm-hmm.
war front, right? So he loses
Mm-hmm.
his leg, and then ultimately he just tries to recover, and he again goes back as a diver,
Mm-hmm.
wearing, I think, I don't know, 500 kgs suit, and they have to
Okay.
go down. And
Okay.
I mean, they just have to go deep down in the sea. I mean, you
Uh-huh.
should movie. I don't know, I can recommend that movie. So I think that is another movie. That these two movies are really uh, worth watching. And yeah, really, the first one, The Pursuit of Happiness, is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's one of the movies of Will Smith which are very popular and a lot of people who have seen it.
Hmm.
And it's in general is a very great movie. Teaches a lot of stuff in life.
Yeah.
All right,
True,
for
true.
every one of us.
Yeah.
But yes,
Great.
I think with that we have come to the end of our podcast, and it was a really insightful conversation which we had with you. Right?
Thank you.
We've seen your journey from chemistry to intellectual property rights and all the stuff, and it's
Yeah.
very fascinating for us as well. And your perspectives in innovation, leadership, in cinema has given a lot to think about, in general for
Thank
us
you.
as well.
Yeah.
And got to know from you that Marathi cinema in general are more grounded, and I think they cover real life stories. I can say whatever
Yeah.
conversation I had,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So yeah, so I think thanks a lot for coming to the podcast, sir. Thanks for
Yeah.
spending time with us,
Yeah.
and
Thank
yeah,
you so
wish
much.
you a happy evening.
Thank you so much. Great.
To all our listeners, if you have found this podcast very valuable, don't forget to like, share, and obviously comment on our podcast as well, and subscribe to our podcast. We'd love to hear from you in general what you've thought. What's the movie that made you think different? In terms of, let's say, science, innovation, or leadership. Right? If you are in general an industry leader and you have a very good passion or you love movies a lot. So do drop us an email to connect@recobeat.com. It's CONNECT at RECO-BEE.com. Yeah, so stay tuned for our next episode where we'll bring another incredible guest, to explore the world of cinema and impact beyond the scene. Right. So until then, keep watching, keep learning, and keep discovering with us. So bye bye.